Hi, and welcome back to the visual arts community for teachers just like you, elementary art teachers. I'm Sarah Rising, the moderator for this group, and in this episode, I'm going to share some thoughts on substitute teaching, providing you guys with some links to resources as well as some substitute ideas, lesson plans, and sub-binder plans. Take a few minutes to watch the video and then participate in the discussion question we'll have at the end. I've also linked the presentation so that you can go back and click on the links within the presentation. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any updates. And also remember, today we're going to do more of a sharing process in our discussion so that we can all help each other with our sub-plans. So if you're ready, here we go. Sub-plans in the art room, best practices. We all know that it's easier to be at school than to miss school. Creating subplans in our world is quite involved. We see quite a few grade levels and we see different groups every day for some of us. For some of us, we see the same groups every day. So your subplans are going to be unique and not the same throughout the state. So make sure that the first thing that you do is understand your school's policy for substitute plans and what is required in that. Today, I thought we'd cover 5 basic topics: substitute tips, planned absences, unplanned absences, long-term absences, and subplan resources. That way, we can all remember to expect nothing and be prepared for everything. Substitute tips, 3 things come to mind when I think of substituting and making sure that the day goes well. That would be including a sub-binder, including photographs, and then I'm also going to share with you guys some tips for success. When you're looking at your sub-binder, each school actually is going to be very different in what they require. So again, I mentioned it before, but do make sure that you understand those expectations that your admin has for you. Some of the typical things that you want to include in your binder would be a note from the teacher, local policies, class lists, classroom rules, water and restroom policies, and behavior. And one thing I didn't mention on there is also the materials use. You want to include that. I've included here a video from Mrs. Artastic. She's got some great ideas to share, so if you get a chance after the presentation, come back and click on that to view that short video. You also want to include pictures whenever you can. Inserting photos allows you to have to write less and explain less, and that way a sub can see just what you mean in your lesson plans with anything that has to do with your art lessons. Some helpful tips that I came across, and I've cited the site where I received this information, but leverage the rapport that you have with your class by discussing those expectations for behavior with subs. Make that a part of your first day back at school. Also, create a clear structure for sub days. That will keep you from feeling like you need to leave insanely detailed instructions for every moment of the day. Allow for different routines in your absence and free your sub to be more effective and authentic. Another idea, if you teach elementary, which we do, is to write on the board, "We're proud of our choices today," and have the kids write their accomplishments underneath. And I put a little photograph of that there. Haven't done that yet, but that's something I'm going to try next year. Remember to adjust your routines. Create a simplified version of your daily routines and procedures, and that way you can save a lot of headaches later on. Teach your students from the get-go that when you're out, someone different will be in charge, and that means your daily routines will be slightly different. Explain in advance what they should expect with a sub and why, if at all possible. Also, you want to adjust your expectations. We all know that kids behave differently with different people, with their coaches, with their parents, with their friends' parents, with each individual teacher. So when there are different people in charge, that means there's going to be a different rapport. There's going to be different attitudes and different expectations. That's a hard one for me, but it's important to remember. When you have a planned absence, prepare video and audio messages if possible. Sample lessons with amazing results will also be included in this. If possible, leave a slideshow, a video, or an audio recording for your students so they understand why you're not there. Depending on your learning management program that you have at school or what the policies are for technology and what the substitutes are allowed to access, this helps the kids kind of plan for the day so they know that something's going to be different. Set expectations and give accountability. Let the kids know that you're counting on them to complete their projects, and that will allow them to start fresh when we get back. Also, make sure that they remember that they're responsible for cleaning up afterwards. So maybe assign a captain to make sure everything's done correctly. And then also leave a note of encouragement. Let them know that you're excited to see them again and that when you get back, you will pick up where you guys left off. This is one of my lessons, and I'm just going to go over a couple of these. This is a succulent drawing, and this is one of my students. I will tell you what, I honestly, when I came back from being out, I thought the sub did a better job on this than if I was in class. But this is just a little sneak peek of a simple lesson plan that uses little materials but produces great results. The kids were so thrilled with this lesson, and I'll do a demonstration on this in our next webinar. I'll also present you with a slide presentation that you can use. This is another one that I've used with great success, and again, the Spears in Space will be included in the next webinar, the actual working out of that lesson. Now, when you have unplanned absences, we all know that that happens. It's in best cases, it's nice when you know that it's coming up, but when you don't, try to designate a resource person from each class before that comes up. Make sure that you leave explicit subdirections and make sure that you always include backup plans in case the plan you leave doesn't always work. At our school, we're required to have a lesson plan or two in our Gotta Go bag, just in case something happens and we're not there, and that something that's easy enough that a teacher can step in and get the kids working on something in our absence. A good idea that I've also come across is creating that famous subtub for emergencies. That helps you cut down on prep time with subs, but it helps to have at least a week's worth of emergency sub plans ready to use any day of the year and keeping them in the tub. An easy way to get activities for your emergency sub plans is simply to place any unused activities. Gosh, I thought this was the best tip. Place those unused activities in your sub tub throughout the year. You've already done the work. So if you've run out of time or you didn't get to use all the materials, pop that in the sub tub and let your kids finish that when that is necessary. Over here, if you click on this, there's an article that goes over what to include and other ideas that teachers have for using the sub tub in art. This one is, and I'm sure many of you have seen this one on Pinterest and out there on the social media platforms. I will demonstrate. I've reworked the sheet that I hand out to the kids, but again, this is another one that I'm going to include in the video demo in our next webinar, the cross contour line exercise, also known as Op Art Wormies, a very popular assignment. Long-term absences. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this. I just want that out there for you to think about, simply because you need to confirm with your administrators how this long-term policy works. So I'm in no position to offer advice on how to handle it and what you need to do. That is up to your individual. But remember, a long-term substitute teacher is a qualified individual. They step into the classroom, they take over teaching for a prolonged period of time. Duties vary. They could include lesson planning, communication with parents, handling disciplinary issues, assessing students, and grading assignments and reporting those grades. So again, just remember to check with your school district administrators to learn about those expectations regarding any long-term leave that may be in your future. It's always a good idea to understand it beforehand too, because you never know what's going to come up. I've just included here a little article that you can take a peek at that talks about how you can navigate long-term or extended leave in the art room. Resources. So finally, this is going to just include some printables, reads, and no prep lessons. And remember, this is a live presentation, but you can always go back afterwards and click on the link, and it will allow you to get to these printables. This one I found from A Girl in a Glue Gun. She's included a whole series of geometric printables, and it is a great resources to use to have on hand, probably in your subtub. So these are all links that you can use to see those, and they're all free. I've included also 3 videos. The first one talks about the substitute teacher folder and how to get that ready to go. This one I found really interesting. I used to be a sub myself, and you forget actually what it's like once you are in the classroom. So this is a good one to take a look at and just refresh your memory of putting yourself in a substitute teacher's shoes and making sure that they are successful in the classroom. And if you get a good one, you want to make sure they are always willing to come back. And then Cassie Stevens always has great ideas for lesson plans, so I've included another subplan. This is one I use. I try to change them up every year so it's not repeated, but this is a very popular one as well with the younger students. And then finally, I've included some no prep lessons for this set. The article is titled 10 No Prep Sub Lessons, but there are 5 here for those 6 o'clock in the morning times when you aren't sure what you're going to be doing with your sub plans if you wake up and find out you can't make it to school that day. So the fonts name challenge, rhythmic line drawing, all around the art room, still life drawing, and my favorite, meal drawing, and monsters. They all work for various grade levels. You can tweak them to make sure that they work for the grade level that they are designed for. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this helps get us thinking about that again. So let's help each other. So share some of your favorite subplans and tips in the discussion. You can include documents, Word documents, Google documents, whatever you have. And hopefully next year we can work on building into the Godot website more resources on substitute lessons. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was good talking to you. I'll see you again soon. Bye.